Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. I just want to double check here, make sure that we are live inside the group. How is everybody doing today? Okay, so we're live. Perfect. So I am using StreamYard this morning. Part of the reason I use StreamYard, I've said before, is I love the captions along the bottom. Those of you who are not able to catch it live, and be able to hear it, I love the fact that you can follow along with the comments along the bottom if you want to. But today I want to share with you 3 common beginning leader misconceptions. And part of the reason that I wanted to bring this fresh in January 2022 is because I feel like so many people are setting new intentions, new resolutions, new goals, and if this is a whole nother live, but if you are someone who you're like, I just don't set resolutions, I just don't change when it comes to the beginning of the year, I have done a live on this before, but I totally respect that because for me also, like I set goals every month, I set goals every day, right? So if I'm someone who I'm just doing continuous learning and continually trying to be better and to improve, then the new year might not be something that makes me have these like big audacious goals, right? Because I'm going towards certain goals all year long, right? So if you're someone who you're like, one of my intentions, one of my ongoing intentions is to become a better leader. I have a team. I want to just be a better leader for my family. I want to be a better leader for my sports team. I want to be a better leader, just for myself and my own personal growth. I love to work with women who are in the beginning pieces of their leadership and trying to figure out their style, trying to figure out their communication. But also, I love to help women who are already part of the journey, right? They've already got a team that they're leading. Maybe they want to work on team building. Maybe just for themselves, they're like, I know I can do better at this. I want to improve. I want to hear some new skills. I want to gain some new things to try. Then I'm your girl, and these trainings will help you. So one of my intentions for this year not only is to do the Intentional Women Making an Impact series continually, but I want to bring you these free live trainings at least twice a month. So this one is 3 common beginner leader misconceptions. So if you are joining live, let me know you're joining live. If you're on the replay, that's cool too. I'm a replay girl myself. I try to keep these short for you guys so that you can fit them in real quick and get your value popping out of them. Okay. So today, 3 common beginning leader misconceptions. Our first one that we're going to talk about is, and raise your hand if you had somebody like this who is in a leadership position, but thinking that because you've been promoted or because you came in at a management level or a team leader level, that you have this like instant credibility or you should deserve this instant respect, right? We've all worked with somebody who feels like or acts as if as soon as they get promoted or as soon as they come in at a management or a leadership level, that they have this instant credibility, right? So for me, I had to move up those ranks, right? People saw me go from a sales associate to the other positions that were in that company that I worked for, up to a management, up to the general manager, right? And then once I was the general manager, the thing that people forgot is that I started as a sales associate. Once I got to store leader, people forgot that I started as a as floor service, right? So you don't forget those places that you came from. Learning those different pieces of any business are the things that got you to that management or leader position. Yes, but too many leaders go in thinking I'm going to have instant credibility because I am labeled a position title, right? So when you think about the leader of our country, you guys would probably say Joe Biden, right? He's our president. Now, what if you thought about the leader of your company, maybe the CEO of your company? Would you say that they're the leader? What about somebody who is in your current company that is a peer or a colleague, somebody who's in the same position as you? Would you say that they're a leader? Would you say that they're authority? So, what I want us to understand is just being in a position does not always give us the power to lead. Some people, the leading is just about their position, but a lot of people need to understand that once you're in that position, leading by example is what's going to get you the credibility. Remembering where you came from, sharing those experiences, that's what's going to get you the credibility for people to believe that you're a leader. So that's number one. You're not going to have instant street cred. You've got to figure it out first and show that you're living by example. Okay. The second thing that I want to share with you guys today for 3 common misconceptions is the feeling that you have to do all the things and you have to do all the things yourself. Beginning leaders seem to think that now that they are in this leadership position, it's all on their shoulders. It's all on their plate. An interesting exercise that we've done before is draw a circle in the middle of your sheet of paper, blank sheet of paper. Just draw a big circle in the middle. And we're going to say that that's your plate, right? So if you start to write out all the things that you are in charge of or taking care of all day long or in your position, you're going to fill that plate up, right? Once you fill that plate up, where's your room for personal growth? Where's the room for you to get better? So what you have to do is be able to take some of those things that are on that plate and say, who on my team is ready to take on some of those responsibilities? Who on my team has the skill set to do some of these responsibilities? Who on my team wants to? Who can I help learn some of these things? Who can I help move forward? If you are the person who always does the ordering, what if you get sick? Who's going to do the order, right? If you're the person who always makes sure that the social media posts get done, if you are the only person looking at that, how is anyone else going to learn to do that? How do you even know if anybody else that's in your office, on your team, in your group, is excited or wants to do things like that without showing them, right? So misconception is that leaders have to do everything themselves. And what happens is you don't leave any room on your plate for your own personal growth and development. You're showing your team that you don't necessarily trust them to take on some of those responsibilities, that it only gets done correctly if you do it yourself. You can't do all the things. I did. I tried. And you know what happened? I burned out. And I wasn't able to do all of those things well. But then when I was able to get in my zone of genius, when I was able to specifically work on, and for me, it was training, people development, and trying to think outside the box, what we could do differently, our service level, those were my genius. Those other tasks, as soon as I taught them to somebody else, they rolled with it. They were excited to have additional responsibilities. They were excited to be trusted. They were energized by learning. So we have to think that as a leader, you create these shared common goals that then you inspire others to do their part to add to that common goal. Don't talk at people, talk with them. Get those ideas. Okay. So you do not need to do all the things yourself. You need to bring other people along. Okay. Number 3, and this is probably my absolute favorite thing to teach. This is like the aha moment for people. Common misconception number 3 is that you have to know all the answers. A lot of leaders think that because they're in a leadership position, they have to have the answer to everything. They have to know it all. If somebody comes to them and asks a question, they better know the answer or they're not doing their job. So here are my favorite 2 questions to ask somebody when they come to me with a question. Because when you think about it, how many times a day are you asked questions about the business or about what to do next from a team member or a colleague? How many times a day would you think? Drop that down below. That what you're doing, your focus, your productivity is interrupted by someone else asking a question. Now, yes, sometimes they need to ask questions, but If you always answer them, you're not teaching them to find that information on their own, and you're not empowering them to use resources. Think about it. How did you get where you got? You had personal development. You probably had yourself a mentor. You used your resources. If someone wasn't standing right there to tell you, where did you look, right? You figured it out. Remember how awesome you felt when you figured it out? Now, you are the leader, right? You are the person who is developing this team towards a shared common goal. So, my favorite two questions to ask if they came to me and asked me a question is I said, where would you look if I wasn't standing right here to ask? Where would be your first phone call, your first book that you would look at, your first resource? Where would you go first if I wasn't standing right here to ask? Typically, they kind of look down, look to the side, right? Because they're thinking, but they're thinking. We're making it too easy and too accessible for them to just come and get the answer from us and not have to work for that. How are we teaching them to grow and take over another position, move up, better themselves, generate more wealth if they're not able to figure things out on their own before they come to us? Okay. The second question I like to ask is, what do you think? What do you think we should do? What ideas do you have? Because again, we're getting that team to think. We might be resourceful. We can help talk them through some of the things that they come up with. But I always encourage my team to come to me with a problem. One problem should bring two possible solutions. So they may come to me and they say, hey, Trienne, I don't feel like this person is, turning their reports in on time, or when they do, they're not organized. It's really hard for me to understand what they're saying or how they're reporting. I think we should what? What are the two solutions? If somebody comes to me and they want me to have a conversation with somebody, I don't feel, being the third party, that I can have the right conversation with that person if it's constructive feedback. What I can do, because you don't always have to know the answer, you want to help them figure it out for themselves, is I can say, do you want to role play through that conversation? We role play through the conversation, and then I follow up with, so when are you going to have that conversation? When are you going to talk to that person about that? When are you going to come back to me and we'll talk about how that went, right? Because in my mind, every single thing I do should be developing the team around me, should be making an impact, should be making that ripple effect, right? All right. So there's your three common misconceptions, right? So the first one was thinking that you have some sort of instant credibility, feeling like you have to do all the things yourself, all the things, right? And then the third one was thinking that you have to have all the answers. I really want to encourage you guys to think about these three misconceptions. I want you to take something that you learned today and share it with somebody else that's either on your team or a colleague or a friend who maybe works for another company that maybe you've heard them complaining about a leader that is in their company. So coming up this year, I'm super excited because I have some guest posts that are going to be happening. And you maybe already saw Cassandra's Wellness Wednesday. So Cassandra is into obviously health and nutrition. And as leaders, we need to make sure that we are physically and mentally taking care of ourselves, right? So that we can be the best for others and be the best for ourselves. So I've asked her on Wednesdays to come on and do a Wellness Wednesday tip. So you guys will see that every week. We're going to continue with intentional women making an impact. So I want to make sure that I get the chance to share some of the great women that we have in our community with you guys. If there's anybody that you'd specifically like to hear from, or maybe a specific topic that you'd like, send me a direct message on that, and we will see if I can get something like that on the schedule. We're going to be having at least 2 live trainings a month. We try to keep them under 15 minutes for you guys so that they're easily replayable. And then I've got 2 group programs coming up. And then I'm always open to one-on-one. If you guys feel like you need a leadership moment, I have those that you can schedule through calendly.com. I also have, if your business needs help with their social media strategy, I have those calls available through that same link. And if there's just a project that you're wanting to work on for your company or for your team or your own personal development, I have option on there that you can click on that we can get you on a calendar to do that as well. I'm super excited about 2022, you guys. And like I said, it's not for me about the year changing. It's not about making these big, audacious goals. It's about consistency. It's about trying to improve a little bit every day. And I think understanding more of these three common beginning leader misconceptions, you guys will have a great start for your new year. And if you have any questions, always welcome to reach out. You guys have a kick-ass day. Thanks so much.